Mortgage Solutions, and today I'm joined by Kristin from Street 99.
Yes, hi, thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming along. So the main reason I wanted to get you along is I've got a lot of clients who have investment properties or are looking to get investment properties, and I really just wanted to pick your brains so that I can share with them any hints or tips that they should really be thinking about when looking at who to manage their property, what they need to do to get it managed. All of that, you know better than me.
When looking at your investment property and who to have it managed, there are a few questions that you should be asking a property manager that you're considering to look after your property. So, you know, one of these being asking them questions about how do you manage rent arrears, things like asking them about their processes with that, asking them how they handle maintenance, all that sort of thing. Definitely asking them the disbursements, how often they disperse, so whether you get your money dispersed monthly or fortnightly. Definitely things to look at. Fees, I wouldn't say are the most important things you should consider with a property manager, only because you might get somebody that has extremely cheap fees, but generally the service you're not going to receive the best service.
And you're trusting your property in these people or that person's hands.
Exactly.
Make sure that they've got your best interests at heart.
Yeah, having a property investment is an investment in itself, but then also investing in a good property manager is just as important. And I think if fees are the main driving thing, then you know you're not going to be putting the best service for your property, which it should be. Having the best service for your property should be number one priority. So absolutely, it's something to consider, but not the most important thing, definitely.
And I know that you run off a flat fee versus a percentage.
Yep.
So what would be the pros and cons, I guess?
Yeah, so the main reason why we do a set fee instead of percentage is the whole time I've been in the industry, I've seen a percentage is the most common way of doing it, but I've never understood it. It's not, if you have a 4-bedroom home, for example, here in Springwood, and then if you have a 4-bedroom home in Holland Park, closer to the city, one may be $425 a week, and the one in Holland Park may be $625. On a percentage structure, say it's 8%, you're paying extremely more in fees for the one in Holland Park than the one in Springwood. But
it's the same amount of work.
Exactly. As a property manager, from my perspective, I'm putting the same amount of work in for a 4-bedroom property here and in Holland Park. So to be paid more for a property just simply because of where it is and how much the rent is, it doesn't make sense to me, and I don't think it's cost effective for landlords either. So that's primarily why we do a set fee. We base it on how many bedrooms are in the house and the size of the property. Because generally, the bigger the house, the more work I'm going to be putting into it. So that's a brief overview of why we do it the way we do it.
And what should someone do if they've currently got an investment property and they're not happy with how it's being managed, or they're not sure if they're not happy?
Yeah, so I think a lot of the time, if you're not happy with your property manager, people stay where they are for comfort, or they're not sure what to do next. But sometimes it's better the devil, you know. Exactly. And that's the sad thing is they continue to be unhappy because they purely don't know, or they don't want to change. But changing your property manager is really simple. A lot of people think that, you know, it's difficult, it's this complex thing and it takes too long, and it's really not the case. Changing can be as simple as having a chat with me, for example, and then if you decide you wanted to switch, all you need to do is we have a management transfer letter. So basically it's a letter that we've already pre-typed, and filling in your details and signing that letter. Then we take care of the transfer for you. Essentially what we like to call the breakup. We do that for you.
Having someone else to break up with is amazing.
Exactly. Wouldn't that be perfect for everyone? So once you've signed that letter, we can then send it to your current managing agent. Let them know that you'll be, it's a sensitively written letter, it's not rude or anything. We send send that off to your agent, just letting them know you'll be switching to Street 99 and the notice period and the handover date. And then we literally take care of the handover for you. We contact your tenants. There is nothing else you have to do except sign a bit of paper. So it's really that simple.
And how did you come up with the name Street 99?
This one's a good one. So Street 99, my husband and I, when we were creating the name for our business, we went back and forth a little bit, but in the end we came up with Street 99 because we're going to cap our property managers at 99 properties each. And the reason why I'm so focused on that, and that means a lot to me, is having worked in the industry for so long, I've seen on so many occasions property managers that are overworked, too many properties for one person that realistically they just can't handle, which is why we always see so much burnout and a high staff turnover in the industry. So that for me was extremely important. I did not want that in my business, hence why we named it Street 99.
I love it.
Yeah, there's a bit of a story behind it, yeah.
But it's true, once you have too much work,
Yeah.
something's got to give, and a lot of the time it's usually the service,
Yes.
and that's not what you want.
Yeah, from a front end, people see a property manager not doing their job properly. And it might be the case for some, I can't speak for everyone, but a lot of the time it's because there is just too much work and they're trying to provide the best service they can to everyone. But when you have that many people and that many properties, you're not going to be able to provide the level of service that should be provided. You're just not going to be able to. So for me, I think having less properties to manage, you're able to deliver that great service that I think should be in the industry, and then you're getting happier clients, happier tenants, and happier property managers.
So if someone is currently thinking about either getting an investment property, or they have an investment property and they don't quite like the manager or the person managing it, how do they contact you?
So it's really simple. I'm available phone if you give me a call or even a text. I know some people can't talk during the day. So my number is 0448 792 055, or email's fine. So it's just Kristin at street99.com.au.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for coming to
You're welcome.
let me pick your brains.
Thank you.